Courtroom confrontations. When families snap, I can't hold it anymore. I can't, somebody stop me before I do something. These are the words of Marcus Thompson, moments before absolute chaos erupted in a Georgia courtroom. This is 27-year-old Derek Chen, who's facing charges for vehicular manslaughter in Atlanta, Georgia. In March 2021, Derek was driving under the influence when he ran a red light and struck a vehicle carrying the Martinez family. The crash claimed the lives of 32-year-old Sofia Martinez and her 6-year-old daughter Emma. Following extensive investigations, Derek Chen was arrested and charged. Now, in court, the husband and father of the victims, Carlos Martinez, has some words for Derek. "You took everything from me. Everything. My wife, my baby girl, they were my whole world." Carlos's voice breaks as he continues. "Emma was just starting first grade. She wanted to be a veterinarian. Sophia and we were planning our 10-year anniversary trip. And you took all of that away because you couldn't call an Uber? Because you thought you were fine to drive?" But as Carlos spoke, something in Derek's demeanor changed. He began shaking his head, appearing to roll his eyes. Carlos noticed immediately. "You shaking your head at me? You think this is funny?" Before anyone could react, Carlos lunged across the courtroom barrier. "I'll kill you! I'll kill you right here!" "Sir, back away! Back away now! Get off me! Let me go! He needs to feel what they felt." The officers eventually managed to pull Carlos back, but not before he knocked over the defendant's table. Carlos collapsed to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. "My baby. My little girl. She was just 6 years old." The judge called for a recess. When court resumed, Derek Chen was sentenced to 25 years in prison for 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated. But this wasn't the only time a grieving parent reached their breaking point in court. Like in the case of Jennifer Morrison. This is 34-year-old Jennifer Morrison, who's in court for the murder trial of 19-year-old Tyler Reeves. Tyler was convicted of murdering Jennifer's 17-year-old son, Michael Morrison, during a robbery gone wrong in Portland, Oregon, on December 3, 2022. Michael was walking home from his part-time job when Tyler approached him and demanded his phone and wallet. When Michael resisted, Tyler fatally shot him and fled the scene. Police arrested Tyler 3 days later after finding Michael's belongings in his possession. If you thought Tyler would show any remorse during the proceedings, prepare yourself for his shocking behavior in court. As Jennifer approaches the podium to deliver her victim impact statement, Tyler sits back in his chair with an almost bored expression. "Michael was my only child. I raised him by myself after his father passed away. He was everything to me. He worked after school to help with bills. He made honor roll every semester. He wanted to study engineering." Jennifer's voice trembles as she continues. "And you took him from me for a phone and $43. That's what my son's life was worth to you. $43. But what happened next left everyone in the courtroom stunned. Tyler yawned, openly yawned during her statement. Jennifer froze mid-sentence, staring at him in disbelief. "Did you just yawn while I'm talking about my dead son?" The prosecutor tried to calm her down. "Mrs. Morrison, please." But Jennifer was already moving toward Tyler. "You think this is boring? You killed my baby and you're bored?" Before she could reach him, 2 bailiffs intercepted her. But Jennifer's sister rushed from the gallery and managed to slap Tyler across the face before being restrained. Everyone stepped back. Order in the court. The judge pounded his gavel repeatedly as officers separated the families. Jennifer collapsed into her chair, hyperventilating through tears. After the courtroom was cleared and order restored, Jennifer spoke to reporters outside. "I know what I did was wrong. I know I shouldn't have tried to approach him. But seeing him sit there like my son's death meant nothing. Like Michael's life was an inconvenience to him. I just couldn't take it. I wanted him to feel something. Anything." Tyler Reeves eventually accepted a plea deal and was sentenced to 40 years in prison without the possibility of parole. Fortunately, deputies were prepared this time and prevented serious violence. But the same cannot be said for the case of 31-year-old Brandon Hayes, who's facing charges for child abuse resulting in death. This is one of the most disturbing cases to come through the Ohio court system. Brandon Hayes, the boyfriend of Sarah Mitchell, was arrested after Sarah's 3-year-old daughter, Lily Mitchell, died from sustained injuries in their home on June 15, 2023. Medical examiners determined that Lily had suffered months of abuse, broken bones in various stages of healing, bruising, malnutrition, and ultimately a fatal blow to the head. Sarah Mitchell claimed she didn't know about the abuse, but text messages revealed otherwise. Now in court, Lily's biological father, James Mitchell, walks up to the podium to deliver a victim impact statement, but not before giving Brandon a look that could kill. The judge asks James to begin, but James stands silently, staring at Brandon for nearly 30 seconds. The courtroom is dead quiet. Your Honor, I wrote down what I wanted to say. I practiced it 100 times, but now that I'm standing here looking at him, James's hands shake as he holds his papers. Lily used to call me every night before bed. She'd tell me about her day, about what she learned at daycare, about the butterflies she saw. And then one day, the calls stopped. Sarah said Lily was just tired, too busy, acting out. His voice breaks. But it wasn't that. Torturing my baby. And she was too scared and hurt to call her daddy. And I wasn't there. I couldn't protect her. James looks directly at Brandon, who's sitting motionless, staring at the table. Look at me! Look at me! Brandon slowly raises his eyes. You beat a 3-year-old. You broke her arm. You starved her. You killed her. And you know what? You're sitting there like you're the victim. But then Brandon did something unthinkable. He smirked, just slightly, but everyone saw it. James's face went red. You think this is funny? Your Honor, I can't. James threw the podium aside and charged at Brandon. He managed to land 3 punches before deputies tackled him to the ground. He's smiling. He's smiling about killing my daughter. Mr. Mitchell, stop resisting. I don't care. Arrest me. He killed my baby. It took 4 officers to restrain James and remove him from the courtroom. The judge called for a recess. When court resumed without James present, Brandon Hayes was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. James Mitchell was later sentenced to 90 days in jail for contempt of court and assault, though the sentence was suspended given the circumstances. James Mitchell's reaction shows how far a parent will go when confronting their child's killer. But this wasn't the last time grief turned into rage in the courtroom, like during the sentencing of 45-year-old Robert Patterson. This is Robert Patterson, a former teacher who's facing multiple charges for sexual assault of minors in Wisconsin. Between 2018 and 2022, Robert abused his position of trust to assault at least 7 students ranging from ages 13 to 16. After a lengthy trial, Robert was found guilty on all counts. Now in court, the parents of his victims prepare to deliver their impact statement. First up is Diana Torres, mother of one of the victims. My daughter was a straight-A student. She loved school. She wanted to be a teacher herself one day. And you destroyed that. She doesn't sleep anymore. She has panic attacks. She dropped out of school because she couldn't walk through those hallways without reliving what you did to her. But if you thought Robert would show remorse, prepare to be disgusted by what happened next. As Diana spoke, Robert leaned back in his chair and closed his eyes, appearing to drift off to sleep. Diana noticed immediately and stopped mid-sentence. Are you falling asleep? Is my daughter's trauma boring you? The prosecutor objected. Your Honor, the defendant is showing complete disrespect. But before anyone could react further, Diana's husband, Marcus Torres, stood up from the gallery. You're sleeping? You destroy children's lives and you're taking a nap? Marcus vaulted over the barrier and tackled Robert, knocking both him and his chair to the ground. Wake up! Wake up! You piece of... Get him off! Get him off! Robert's attorney tried to shield his client as Marcus landed several punches before being pulled away by bailiffs. You don't get to sleep. You don't get to rest. Not after what you did. The courtroom erupted into chaos as other parents surged forward, screaming at Robert. It took nearly 10 minutes for order to be restored. Marcus Torres was arrested and charged with assault, though charges were later dropped after public outcry and a petition with over 50,000. When proceedings resumed the next day, Robert Patterson was sentenced consecutive sentences that ensure he will die behind bars. As he was led away in handcuffs, Patterson kept his eyes fixed on the floor, never once looking at the families he destroyed. The judge in that case stated during sentencing, "These cases remind us that behind every crime statistic, every case number, and every verdict, there are real families experiencing unimaginable pain. And sometimes, that pain becomes too much to contain within the boundaries of courtroom decorum."